It's we who drink the very poison that makes us sick. I think a lot of people view life as something like me versus the world, or me versus this event, me versus this circumstance. But what I've come to realize that it's always you versus you. Like it's always going to be me versus me. A lot of things in life don't necessarily have us within it, and it's our ego that, you know, puts us in things that we're supposed to be outside of. Like attaching ourselves to things that ultimately have nothing to do with us and inspire some type of feeling or action within us. In thinking that and knowing that it's you versus you, you kind of seek that control back over yourself. I mean, it's always going to be your perspective battling your own perspective, your perspective battling your mind or intuition or whatever may come. There is no other person that's, genuinely comparable to you. They're not you, so it's impossible. For someone to truly be comparable to you, they'd have to be literally you, in many respects. Like no two people are the same, therefore no two people are truly within the same, you know, qualifications to be compared. That is to say that, you know, the battle of life, the ordeals of life are always going to be you. I think that a lot of it is us experiencing ourselves, us experiencing how our own perspective and narrative impacts us. How we view the world is how the world is, impacting us. A man sees with the world what he carries in his heart. That is to say that a lot of the negativity and anger we have towards our external circumstance or the world around us is in part attributed to, the way in which we allow ourselves to be carried. And that doesn't go for everything. Of course, there are circumstances that, transcend this. But in terms of the things that we afflict ourselves with, I believe that, you know, much of it does not need to be afflicted. A lot of the worry we place on every small instantiation of issue is a lot has a lot more to do with our lack of self-faith and lack of determination to help ourselves. We realize that, if you're watching this, you've made it to this point so far. You've got through every hardship, ordeal, whatnot, and you've made it to this point. And I think people don't appreciate the lengths and the journey they've taken in order to become who they are. A lot of who we are is not an external thing. And I feel like people try to look for, who they are in the reactions and perceptions of others rather than their own, you know. Other people can only see so much of you. And it's not like if someone has a prescription or says something about you, it's automatically incorrect. But, it should always be taken with a grain of salt. People don't know your innermost workings. They don't know your true intentions, and they will never know how your heart truly works. We're never able to truly get into somebody's head and determine exactly what they're thinking. They can tell us something, but it's never 100% guarantee. And that's not to say mistrust everybody, but have faith in yourself. Not everybody's gonna see the world the same way you see it, and they shouldn't. You're different people. It's always going to be you versus you. You want this. You're truly fighting yourself for it. Any perceived competition is you fighting your own mind. You know, you think this person has this over you. That's your mind telling you that. It's you fighting with your mind, conflicting with your own ideas and an interpretation of something. Now, I feel like that could easily be disregarded because there's some, avenues of like skill and whatnot that, you know, would be able to be qualifiable. Like anybody can say LeBron James is better than me at basketball or something like that. Something simple. But in terms of things in regards to like the value of our character, the value of the individual, regardless of, we take away all social hierarchy and the aspects of our society that aren't necessarily founded to make us feel comfortable. We take away that stuff. I'm talking about, the people we truly are behind all of our possessions and all of our issue. I know that none of that can truly be connotated in a way that's truthful in reference to another. Every reference or every prescription that we have must be, self-inflicted in order for it to be true. People can tell you this, this, and that, but until you take it upon yourself and believe it, it's not going to be a part of who you are. And that's why I feel like a lot of us need to stop, letting our ego get into certain situations that it doesn't belong in. As soon as we let our ego to, funnel into certain situations, people, and interactions, we somewhat become the victim of our own biases. We interact a certain way and we perceive it as a certain way, and we tell ourselves certain things about the way we perceived it. Tell ourselves things about the way we are due to the way that interaction took place. So in knowing that it's you versus you, and knowing that, we do bear some responsibility for the way at which we traverse this world. And I know that sounds kind of mystic or sounds kind of out the box or, and whatnot, but I think it's the truth. I think that the more we allow people to funnel into our own mind, the more it becomes theirs and not ours. The mind isn't who we are. We're not our thoughts. We're not this, and that. What we are is the thing observing it. And the more we allow ourselves to believe we're the thought, believe we're that interaction, believe we're that, relation, the more we become susceptible to the biases and plagues that are, other people. I think it was the Seneca quote. It said, hell is other people. And I think in some ways we should not to say that people outside of ourselves are bad, but to say that the way in which we perceive people,
mind your step, didn't you?
Ultimately more negative than how negative the people see.